Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, from Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. It's Friday, and you know what that means. It's time for the weekly SmackDown Event Center report. And now here's the man that will bring you the happenings on WWE SmackDown every Friday night, Mr. Eric M. Lima. Try it again. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima's Shenanigans of 1977, episode 2283 of the show. It is May the 30th, 2025, 11:23 p.m. That's right, the final Friday of May 2025, so we get into June, and that's coming up next week. I'll tell you what, lots of stuff happening already. It's been a crazy week. It's been a great week. Hope you guys had a great week, and hope you guys had a great Friday. As you know, that means when June comes around, that means school's almost out for all the kiddies out there, and they take a break take a vacation from their reading, writing, arithmetic to go out to the beach, go to the pools, jump in the pools, go camping. What do other with their families? What do other people do when they're out of school? Oh yeah, go to festivals, feasts, whatever. Summer stuff, summer fun. And while we adults work our butts off, make the money so we can have fun at the feasts and festivals and whatnot. Possibly go see a movie, or possibly if it's too hot, we stay inside, crank up the ACs and play some video games or hang out on the internet. I don't know. I do most of them, and I'm an adult nowadays. You know what I mean? So I hope you guys had hope you guys had a good day, and hope my friends out there and all my subscribers had a great day. I hope everybody is having a wonderful day. But we're going to talk about what happened on SmackDown tonight. SmackDown was over about 24 minutes ago. And by the way, I have a bone to pick with the New York Knicks. Why did you have to win? That means you preempted Collision until late at night. I gotta watch Sky Blue and versus Mina Shirakawa late at night tomorrow. At least, and the Thunder have won though in the NBA Finals. So the Thunder, the Western Conference champs, will meet the winner of the Knicks-Pacers series, and I'm hoping that the Pacers knock out the Knicks before the Knicks cause any more trouble. Unbelievable. Anyways, but the Stanley Cup final is all set as the Florida Panthers, the defending champions, now with their newest acquisition from the Boston Bruins, Brad Marchand, as they go up against the Edmonton Oilers. So that's going to be a big to do deal. And Worlds Collide is getting a lot more interesting. Two more matches have been added. Did you know the men's North American title will be on the line? We'll talk about that because some of the participants were on SmackDown. As Ethan Page defends the title against Rey Fenix, Javon Evans, and Laredo Kid. Remember him? And also the LWO's action, as they say in Mexico, or six-man tag, as they go up against Aerostar, Octagon Jr., Octagon Jr., and Mr. Iguana. So, let's see if I got that right. I want to see if I got that right. And, let's see. Give me a second here. Okay. Things buffering. Okay. And, yep, and this was let's see. All right, so yeah, Aerostar, Octagon Jr., and Mr. Iguana. They'll face the LWO, as you know, tag team Women's tag team match in Dalise and Cheek Tormenta facing the team of Lola Vice from NXT and Raw's newest acquisition, Stephanie Vaquer. So that's going to be a huge deal. That's going to be a huge matchup. Hijo del Vikingo will go one-on-one with Chad Gable, a.k.a. El Grande Americano. Hey, don't get me started on that. Chad Gable's ears are so big he can yank them out, and he's Dumbo. He can fly. Anyways, so you got all those matches. So it's going to be pretty cool. 2 6-man tag matches. As you know, Legado del Fantasma will face the team of El Hijo del Wagner Jr., Pagano, and Psycho Clown. That's going to be a huge matchup. You know what I'm thinking about? Now that the WWE's acquired AAA Mexico, I wonder what kind of Survivor Series could be a big deal. Imagine the 10-man tags. They should bring back the old school 10-man tags. Unless you have one match for War Games, that will be the main event. That should be, and make War Games a little different. If anybody pins bring the Survivor Series element into the War Games. You get pinned, you're eliminated in the matchup. All right, that's what I would do. You kidding me? Come on, let's add a little bit more Survivor Series. I love Survivor Series, one of my favorite events. All right, so SmackDown took place in Knoxville, Tennessee, and no Jim Cornette has not shown up, so don't worry about that. But Bianca Belair returns to kick off SmackDown in her hometown, and her parents were there, and her mom in a wheelchair. Hope she's okay. She was able to stand up and hug her daughter, which I think is pretty cool. But I'm hoping she's okay. But then, as Bianca Belair, played the college fight song, everybody's singing. But then she was interrupted by Naomi, and Naomi was a little bit on the cuckoo side. Cuckoo. On the cuckoo side, and she was a little bit on the psycho side. She said she stopped by the house, went in because no one's home, and Bianca Belair was not happy. She was not happy about that, and saying, she looked, he looked so happy and all. But then Jade Cargill comes out and starts beating, and even Naomi threatened to beat up on, not Naomi, Bianca Belair threatened that if you go near my house again, the beatdown you put on Jay will be weak compared to what I do to you. And then Naomi had tears in her eyes, and then she goes, it's too bad that you and your mama are not both in wheelchairs. I thought that was low. Jade Cargill comes out and starts beating the snot out of Naomi. She looks at Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair, took a deep breath, and then as beatdowns continue, Nia Jax comes out, and that leads into the triple threat match for the Money in the Bank qualifier for the women's division. And for spot number 5, heck of a matchup there is, but Naomi ended up winning the matchup. She joins Julia, Roxanne Perez, Alexa Bliss, and Rhea Ripley. That's kind of star-studded so far. And with Julia and Roxanne Perez and Rhea Ripley being the first timers in the Money in the Bank ladder match, Alexa Bliss and Naomi has been there before. But neither one of them has won the Money in the Bank. So this is going to be a very interesting situation. There's one more spot left in that Money in the Bank ladder match qualifier. Who is going to get that spot? That's a big, huge question. And also, speaking of women's Money in the Bank qualifier match, Monday Night Raw, Stephanie Vaquer will once again make her official Raw debut as an official member on the Raw roster as she faces Liv Morgan and Ivy Nile for another spot in the Money in the Bank in the Money in the Bank ladder match. In fact, that's going to be the final spot in that matchup. So there's one spot left. Could it be filled by either Liv Morgan, Ivy Nile, or Stephanie Vaquer? And I'm telling you this right now. If Stephanie Vaquer wins, you're talking about two of the biggest international signings of the WWE being part of the Money in the Bank ladder match for the women's side. That's going to be a huge deal, man. Let me tell you. That could be the problem. that could match, so that could be the match that could steal the show if you had Stephanie McCare and Julia in there. Meanwhile, Solo Sikoa was entering the arena talking to JC Mateo and Jacob Fatu. As they're talking, they saw R-Truth talking to little Jimmy again. And look, his childhood hero, he lost to his childhood hero, now he's talking to little ghosts. And he goes, wow, y'all big boned it all. Is this your son? Like, oh, JC Mateo, I'm cracking up. Now, can I step in the ring with your son, teach him a lesson? And Joseph goes, yeah, I'll talk to Nick about this. I'm like, y'all big boned it. I'm like, what the heck, R-Truth? Don't change, R-Truth. You're hilarious. So, I'm thinking Truth is going to be in serious trouble. And then Chelsea Green complains to Nick all this saying, Zelina Vega cost me this. Zelina Vega, he's trying to put me in the face, so trip her on the title, and then Nick Aldis is trying to say, oh, Chelsea knows, and tells a joke and all. And before things get real ugly, and what? And he's trying, and Nick Aldis is trying to keep himself from joking, which I think is hilarious. I'll tell you, and then, if you can't do it, I'll do something about it. And Nick Aldis goes, that's a good idea. You and Zelina Vega go one-on-one, that's fine. And then Byron Saxton interviewed Tiffany Stratton, and Tiffany Stratton goes, if anybody thinks of cashing money in the bank on me, that'll be a big mistake on them. And then Naomi says, well, I will win that money in the bank. I'm going to cash it in on you. And then Alexa Bliss goes to her and says, I don't think you should be worried about her. You should be worried about me. And I was like, you boy. So then R-Truth went one-on-one with JC Mateo. And JC Mateo did end up winning the matchup. Jimmy Uso came out, though, after Sikoa and Mateo with a chair. Mateo then attacked Jimmy Uso from behind while Solo Sikoa was directing low traffic. Then the Street Profits come out to address the Knoxville crowd about the tag team division and how they won the belts. Fraxium, with some brand new music, interrupted them and saying they want their shot. The Motor Machine Guns come out and said, hey, we want our shot too. And then DIY, who now is joined by Candice LeRae, and Johnny Gargano explains that she's there now because of the fact that, to keep an eye on things going on for us and watch their backs. They said they deserved a shot. So they're about to surround the rings, and then the lights went out. And once again, the Wyatt Six came out and attacked all the teams. They attacked the champs. They attacked Fraxium. They attacked Motor City Machine Guns. And they attacked DIY. Nikki Cross went at it with Candice LeRae. This is possibly the craziest tag team division ever on SmackDown. Now the Wyatt Six have thrown their names in the hat. Who knows what's going to happen? And then for the next match, first time on SmackDown, making his debut on SmackDown, on the NXT North American Champion Ethan Page, as he scouts the team of Los Garza of Legado del Fantasma, that's Angel and Berto, going up against Rey Fenix and making his SmackDown debut, Javon Evans. I was shocked because this man can fly, he can go. That boy bouncy. That's right. And a heck of a matchup between these two until Ethan Page and Santos Escobar both got involved, and it cost Phoenix and Evans the match. Los Garza picks up the win. And then as Wade Barrett and Joe Tessitore arguing like Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan, if they were on live and on SmackDown doing the thing, they were interrupted by Uncle Howdy says, we won't stop until we get what we want. And that means possibly some championship gold, maybe? And I'll tell you one thing right now. They came back on Bray Wyatt's birthday, so why not? Right? So, and then Zelina Vega went one-on-one Alba Fire non-title matchup. And Chelsea Green and Piper Niven tried to get involved. Chelsea Green tried to use her mask as a weapon, but Zelina Vega ducked. She hit Piper Niven, but Alba Fire was distracted. Vega picked up the victory in that matchup. And then the Miz was pep talking to Carmelo Hayes about the Money in the Bank qualifier matchup. But Carmelo Hayes said, hey, I worked hard and I did it on my own. Just let me be him, but we'll run the play like we usually do. Miz was kind of cool with it. Who knows? But then Julia ended up addressing the SmackDown Women's Division and the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. So she wants to be indisputable. She wants to be that, not just the best. She was going more better than the best. So I respect Julia. Her drive is what's going to help her take her to the top again. And then Zelina Vega was, she was sweating and cooled herself off with the water. And then Julia goes, I see you, but I see that title more. So Julia does not win the Money in the Bank. Julia is thinking about targeting Zelina Vega for the Women's United States title. And you know what? That's not a bad way to start your domination. Start from the ground up, so to speak. Start with the Women's United States title. She's already been a former NXT Women's Champ. She's held a lot of titles in Japan. Opportunity for Julia is wide open there. Then Damian Priest addresses his feud with Drew McIntyre and says now it's over. And then he says he's now targeting Jacob Fatu, who he respects, for the U.S. title. Jacob Fatu comes out and nods his head, and Damian Priest nods his head too. Those two a little bit of respect. Then it was the men's Money in the Bank qualifying match. Jacob Fatu, the U.S. champ, versus Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes. The Miz got involved, but then Jacob Fatu made him pay. Miz, don't mess with Jacob Fatu. Do not. Do yourself a favor. And if you get home with a busted up face, and Maurice asks you, "What happened to you?" and Mr. Marshall will go, "Oh, he'd be the jackass." And I went, you're probably going to tell him. He said, I effed around and found out. That's right. You effed around and found out. Like you did when you tried to find out the sex of your baby or your second baby, and you got hit in the nuts with the little confetti thing. That's hilarious. On the Miz and Mrs. But then Sikoa and Mateo arrive at ringside too, and gets involved during the matchup. And then Jimmy Uso take care of Mateo at ringside. Andrade ended up taking advantage and picking up the victory. And I get a sense that when Carmelo Hayes got pinned, I think tensions between him and Miz are going to escalate a little bit. And then leaves the Jacob Fatu, Sikoa, and Jason Mateo arguing about whose fault it was. Then Byron Saxton interviewed L.A. Knight, who's determined to walk out with the Money in the Bank briefcase and win. And then Aleister Black interrupts and says, I should have won that match, but you're welcome. L.A. Knight versus Aleister Black, very interesting situation. Should that come up? And then Jacob Fatu, well, he loses in the background, tossing things, screaming and yelling. And he looked at Sikoa. Sikoa calmed down, looks at Jason Mateo, and he goes, I don't need your help. Looks like Jacob Fatu is starting to come into his own. A lot of people are starting to like him a little bit more. Cody Rhodes makes his return to SmackDown, addresses the Knoxville crowd about, The Rock, John Cena, and what have you. But then he says he's got a surprise. So he's brought the World Heavyweight Champion from Raw, Jey Uso. Yeet. Jey Uso comes out, everybody yeets with him and all that. Let's keep on yeeting. And as Cody and Jay were having a little bit of their fun, here comes that sapsucker himself, John Cena. The dude looking like a homeless Power Ranger. A walking big fat bowl of Fruity Pebbles makes me wonder, find a box of Fruity Pebbles and eat a bowl of Fruity Pebbles. And then John Cena goes, look, we have here a couple of wannabes. The problem is, John Cena, you didn't grow up in the wrestling business like Cody and Jay did. So you're jealous of those two guys. And so he's got a surprise of his own. Here comes that Beavis-looking butthead. I would call him Bryce Harper and crack, but Bryce Harper got his hair cut, so can't call him that no more. But he's still a Beavis-looking butthead, though. Logan Paul comes out, runs his mouth, and then Cody goes, what are you guys arguing about? are you gonna go back and play with this Peacemaker? I'm like, oh boy. And I'm like, oh boy. And then all four men fought it out, and in the end, Rose and Uso stood tall, and Jimmy Uso holding his title, and Cody Rhodes holding that world title, the WWE Championship that he once held. Excuse me, that's my bad on that. So, that's it. That's all the time there is on the episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. And before I go, before I turn myself in for the night, as far as getting some sleep and stuff, I'm probably gonna wake up early tomorrow morning, and here's why. Because the fact is that I'm thinking of seeing the Karate Kid Legends movie. Because the earliest show at my workplace, the mall, starts at night. So this one might be my first time going to the mall, not working, but first time going to the mall on a Saturday morning since I was given Saturday morning off. And I'm sure if somebody's like, I thought you had Saturday off. Well, I do. I'm not in my uniform. I'm going to go see a movie. I think I'm going to plan on doing that. So I'll probably have to wake up early, do my Card Sharks video. That's tomorrow. Also, I'll probably talk about the movie when I go see it in my special episode of Real Shenanigans on Film. That's my new segment. And I think I did introduce that segment for Queen of the Ring, which will be coming out on DVD pretty soon. Looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to picking that up as well. So, a lot's happening. And then we got Collision, and that means Collision is going to be on late thanks to the stupid New York Knicks. Thanks a lot, Knicks. But the upside is I get to pay attention with my good buddy Jordy Scow as he does his Chilling with Jordy, unless he decides not to do that. But that's okay if he doesn't do it. That's all right. I'll understand, because I think next weekend's gonna be a crazy weekend, because we got at 3:00 Worlds Collide. We got Money in the Bank. So we got one more qualifying match on Raw on the women's side. Who is going to complete that? So we'll see what happens. So that's all there is to it. Nothing to it but to do it, man. And that's it for episode 2283 of SmackDown Event Center for the 30th of May, 2025. Speaking of May, is Mariah May on her way to the WWE? Who knows? Rumor has it that she's off the AEW roster. So, we shall see. That's a rumor right now. We'll see what happens. So, I will see you guys later. You guys have a wonderful, blessed day. And until the next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home. That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E and do it for Bob Saget production, and in association with a Raving Bull for 3000 Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. See you later on the next episode of the show. Goodbye for now.